We bring in now Katie Miller. She sat down with Elon Musk. I believe that episode dropped yesterday. It's receiving a great deal of attention. Katie, what can you tell us about the interview? Also news with Elon. I don't think we've talked about this, that SpaceX, one of the many companies that he is involved in, may well, according to Bloomberg, be going public this coming year in 2026 at a $1.5 trillion valuation, which would mean, if that occurs, that Elon Musk would basically become the first trillionaire in the history of the world. And so I'll start with that. What is Elon like? What would surprise people about him? What did you find your experience spending so much time around him to be like? What should we know?
Thanks for having me on, guys. Elon is I would say this, if no one else knew anything about him, he is a truly great man who cares first and foremost about fixing humanity. He is not showy about his wealth. You would not know it if you hung out with him or spent time with him, how much money he is truly worth, because he is one of the few billionaires in which I've come across during my time in the Trump administration, who truly doesn't act or behave like it. He Uber eats like the rest of us. He sleeps on couches. He stays in friends' houses. His house is not grand or grandiose. He is just someone who's truly passionate about saving humanity. And so through his time with DOGE, he really believed in balancing the budget and that we needed to get costs under control. And when he found out that DOGE was not the best way and time of his use to be doing so, he said, great, I'm going to go do AI and robotics and create companies that increase our country's GDP. And so when you talk about SpaceX's valuation, which I don't know if they're going public or not, I haven't heard any conversations like that, but nor would I. But what I would say is there's a lot of ways for Elon to become a trillionaire, whether that be through robotics at Tesla, whether that be through XAI and Grok, which I believe is the only truth-seeking AI out there on the market. You see OpenAI openly pushing woke and transgender policies that they're currently donating to. And so when you're the first company and the only company that can really send rockets to Mars and send rockets to the moon and have Starlink, right, which is such a great internet if anyone's ever used it, that he is truly a man who has never screened an employee. If you go to any of his companies, they're all mission-driven. And it was an honor to work for him. I still do work for him, and overall, I do wish him the best. It was an honor to interview him.
Katie, it's Buck. To the degree you can, having spent time around him, can you just try to lay out for us, why is it, what about him makes him able, what about Elon Musk puts him in this place where he's able to do any one of these companies that we're talking about here would be an incredible achievement of building, an incredible benchmark in the corporate world and the jobs and the wealth and the technology and all the things that come with that. To do so many of them, it almost seems superhuman. So what are the Elon X factors as you've seen them? Like, why is he able to do something at this scale and at this pace that just seems like it's impossible, but clearly it's not?
I would make a joke and say his brain is computer. His brain functions in a way that yours or mine simply couldn't. The way he processes information, the way he can immediately recall facts, figures, and data from various time periods, from various complex computer issues that simply I couldn't do. It is a fascinating time to have a conversation with him. You know, when you're sitting there and having this conversation, you understand just by how many orders of magnitude he is smarter than everybody else he comes in contact with. But how he does this in his day, and he talks about this a bit in the podcast, is through this context switching, where each day of his week is focused on a different company or focused on a same set of issues. So he doesn't have to change his thought process multiple times over, right? So if you're doing a SpaceX day, if you're doing a Tesla day, if you have a day where you're focused on engineering, that way his brain can focus on a specific set of issues at a specific time, which is very unique to any of us, right, who go through many things in a day. It's having that focus and drive to do one thing at one time, which he is very good at doing.
He told you in the interview that in retrospect, he would probably wishes he had not done Doge because it took so much attention and criticism onto the companies that he runs. He also talked with you about AI. I know you've got young kids, and we'll get to a question relating to kids and social media going forward. But knowing Elon as you do, how optimistic are you about where AI is going, and what did you think about his sort of analysis in retrospect that he wishes he had not gotten involved with Doge?
I think Doge was done at a great expense to him, not only with the burning of the cars, but as it relates to recruiting at companies, right? And so that a short period of time, that him as an engineer and a builder, that if he had spent those 6 months rapidly building an AI, I believe they would probably reach AGI, Advanced Global Intelligence, by now, and have truly an AI that could do a lot more than what you and I are thinking it could do, right? That's replacing so many of the functions of human life. It's what Elon talks about, and he talked about it in the podcast, when he says things like, work will be optional in the future, that it won't be as many days per week or hours per week. And I know you're going to get to, Australia and their social media ban, right? Because in my opinion, how ridiculous is that? I believe that parents should self-police where we are on the internet. And I think AI has the probability and the chance to do incredibly bad things, especially relates to children's minds and children's brains. I was joking about this the other day with my husband about how when I took math, they said, well, you have to learn to do this without a calculator. And now it's like I walk around with my phone, the human calculator, like all day long, that can do much more complex issues than what you could do with a calculator. And meanwhile, you're talking about AI where you could just take a photo of something and it can synthesize it. That's a lot less learning for our children. And also there's a lot of abuses of it that are very scary.
Speaking of Katie Miller, she is the host of a fantastic podcast, which you should all go check out. This is a pretty clear moment here, I think, Katie, for us to transition into this discussion we were just having. It involves children and protecting children. This ban on those under 16 in using social media, and it's all the big social media companies that everybody thinks of covered under this, that Australia just implemented. What's your take on this, and how do you view this? And as somebody who's very close to, obviously, this White House, and your husband is one of the top people in this White House and looking at policy, how do you think that this would play out in America?
I haven't had this conversation with my husband or anyone in the White House, so I'll preface that but by saying that I don't like heavy-handed government regulation. I don't like these type of one-size-fits-all policies. I don't agree with them. If states want to have state preemption on things like this, then that's their right, and that's my choice not to live in that state. I don't believe we should be policing, at what age can children have this, because you could argue that children's brains aren't developed at 16, nor are they at 18, nor are they at 21, right? That there's some studies out there that say someone's brain isn't developed until 27 or 28 years old. And if you're working under those theories, I'm on a train, so if you hear it, I'm so sorry, everybody. But what I would say is if you're working under that theory of saying that we shouldn't have heavy-handed government regulations, we should have parents who do great for their children, who understand and who monitor their children online, because there are abuses no matter whether you're talking about social media, whether you're talking about homework and education. You don't want your child misusing the internet for a lot of scary things, including AI.
No doubt. Katie Miller with us right now. Katie Miller podcast just talked with Elon Musk and had a great interview. You guys can check it out. When you this is a little bit of a dark question, but unfortunately, this is the world we're in. We played earlier Erika Kirk. She's been on Fox News today. Charlie has a new book out responding to people who are ripping her, including people on the left. I'm sure you saw this, but Crazy Chick called her a grifter who should be kicked to the curb. Unfortunately, you as a mom have had to deal with a lot of threats to your husband, to your family. How does it make you feel when you see the way that Erika Kirk is being treated and her family is being treated by many people on the left in this country?
It's incredibly sad, and I've had the conversation with Erika numerous times over the last few weeks, because I don't want to say it's the price of doing business, but that is, in our country, what politics has become. It's incredibly divisive, and I think political violence only gets worse before it gets better. And I think Charlie is a very sad realization that just for speech, you can be murdered in cold blood on a sunny, beautiful day in our country. I am in awe of Erika's strength, but there are two different things. There is one of Erika, the grieving widow, and then there is Erika, the CEO. And it's a privilege to watch her step into today, watching her on Outnumbered, watching her step into that CEO role of standing up for her company, standing up for her business, standing up for her employees and her husband. Because that's what I saw today. I saw a woman who stepped into the role of CEO and not just a woman who became a widow 3 months ago today.
You know, Katie, this is taking you in a far less serious direction, but I have to tell you this. When I lived in D.C. In the first Trump administration, and I was doing media like I am now, I've been doing this for a long time, there was, on a random Sunday, a group of left-wing, blue-haired lunatics, nose rings, the future is female T-shirts, the whole thing, under my window. And they were banging drums and cowbells and making all this noise. And I remember I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh, they finally found me. Like I knew eventually this was going to happen. They know about my radio show. Like they finally found me. And then I was like, I don't know, but are they really here for me? And I went downstairs. And do you know who they were there for? Your husband. I was like, wait. And then I was almost kind of disappointed. They're like, Stephen Miller lives in this building. And I wanted to be like, well, guess what, you morons? He's on the other side of the building. You're just waking me up. And thankfully, you don't even know who I am. But yes, that was one of my introductions to life as Stephen Miller, or what it could be. So I always remember.
I really enjoy the protesters. I enjoy the people who scream at us because at least you can see them coming and you know why they're yelling at you. It's the people you don't know that is scary, and that's what's out there. The people who send you death threats online, on Instagram, on X, even to my email or to my website, like, they're not the ones who are going to come kill you. The ones who are going to come kill you don't let you know at first, and that's the scary part. But I will tell you, it is an honor to teach my children about politics in this country and what it means to be an American when people want to come up and make their voices heard in front of my minor children. It makes my
it's
kids
absolutely
proud.
bonkers.
It's
absolutely. I mean, if you're a
proud,
parent, if you're just a normal person and you see someone out with their kids and your thought is, I'm going to run up to the parent and yell at them about something I disagree with them with, you're wrong. And I would say that whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Independent, I can't believe that would happen. But if you do that, you are the bad person. You're much worse than anybody you would complain about. So I hope people out there in this audience have never done that and never would. Katie, we appreciate you. Congrats on the success of the show. Tell Stephen we said hi. Oh, I wanted to ask you this. Were you surprised? Yes. We'll go out on this. Were you surprised to see that President Trump weighed in on Rush Hour 4 and also that he is a huge fan of Bloodsport? It now appears that Rush Hour 4
does Stephen
may
make
happen.
you watch Bloodsport with him? Because we love that movie too, but you're married to him. Do you guys watch Bloodsport?
So one of the lesser-known facts of President Trump is that he loves movie night. And so in the first term, he was movie night all the time in the White House. And at Camp David, and when he would go there would be movie night where he would pick these movies to go on the screen for all of the spouses or whomever his guests were and their friends. And so, yes, I've seen a lot of these movies. No, I'm not surprised he waited. He is an incredible movie buff who has a great respect for good cinema, not this woke cinema and stuff we see on air today, right, with Netflix and the Raising of the Children, but truly good cinema.
Was there, by the way, was there a movie he picked and you were like, I can't believe this was the Trump pick? Like, it was just funny? Was there anything where you watched or you heard from your husband and you were like, I can't believe this is a Trump pick?
No, they're typically all the really good movies that, like, you wish you could see again. I know we've watched Top Gun more times than I can count, which is very on brand for him.
Solid.
Yes,
Solid.
very much.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good choice. Katie, we appreciate,
No, I was going to say, you see a lot of that with the upcoming Showing Kennedy Center Honors, right? You see a lot of his praise towards Sylvester Stallone and Michael Crawford and, good cinema. The president does a really nice job hosting that event, and I hope people tune in.
Outstanding. Yes, that will be airing soon. We appreciate you. Thanks for making the time. Go check out Katie Miller and everything she did just now with Elon Musk, among other guests that she has had that are all pretty fantastic. Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, guys.